I never thought I'd live to see the day my own daughter had a gun pointed at her right in our driveway by the president of the HOA. But that's exactly what happened. Karen. Whitfield, neon. Vest, clipboard in one hand, pistol in the other, screaming that she was making a citizen's arrest. The entire cul-de-sac froze, neighbors peeking out from behind curtains, children crying, and my knees nearly gave out. And in that split second, I realized this war with Karen had gone so far past trash cans and mailboxes, it had turned into something dangerous, something life-threatening. When Linda and I first bought our house in Brookstone Estates, I thought we were buying peace. I was a retired engineer, knees busted from decades on construction sites, dreaming of quiet evenings on the porch, kids running through sprinklers, grandsons riding bikes up and down the cul-de-sac. The neighborhood looked perfect, manicured lawns, friendly, waves, a glossy brochure promising community spirit and property value protection. I should have read the fine print, because hidden behind all that suburban shine was Karen Whitfield. HOA president, self-appointed queen, ruler with a golf cart instead of a throne. It started small, a note about our trash can being visible for 2 hours past pickup, a warning about repainting our mailbox to approved standards. I laughed at first, figured she was just overzealous. But then she rolled up in her black golf cart, yellow hazard lights spinning like she was on patrol, and announced that my shed had to be torn down. Clipboard tapping, sunglasses, flashing, her voice sharp as broken glass. I'd matched the siding color, kept it tidy, but none of that mattered. "All new outbuildings require pre-approval," she barked. The architectural committee she bragged about, just her and one other poor soul she dragged into her scheme. Linda tried to calm me down. "Don't let it get to you, Jack. Maybe she's just like that." But the more we tried to ignore her, the bolder she got. One Sunday, we were having a family barbecue. Burgers, sizzling, kids laughing, nothing loud, nothing wild. Karen screeched up in her cart phone in one hand, clipboard in the other, yelling that our gathering was in violation. I told her she had no authority on my property. She sneered, "I am the authority." That was the first time Claire, my daughter, stepped in. Off-duty, in jeans and a t-shirt, but still carrying the quiet steel of a sheriff. She asked Karen to show the county ordinance we were breaking. Karen couldn't. And when Claire revealed our property wasn't even part of the HOA, Karen's face turned the color of spoiled milk. That should have ended it, but it only lit the fuse. The notices multiplied. Decorative lights not on the approved vendor list. Garden tools excessively visible. Chalk drawings by my grandsons considered defacement. I started saving every scrap. Built a box labeled HOA files stuffed with letters, photos, notes scribbled with times and dates. Linda said I was becoming obsessed. Maybe I was, but deep down, I felt like if I didn't keep track, I'd lose my grip on reality. Then came the certified letter. $600 in unpaid dues. A threat of a lien on our house. Except we weren't part of the HOA. It was pure fraud. My son-in-law David called it extortion. Claire, flipping through the letter, muttered, "If she filed this at the county clerk's office, that's a criminal offense." Linda slammed her mixing spoon down so hard it rattled the counter. "We moved here for peace," she whispered, "and now we're living under a dictator in a golf cart." That was when I hit my low point. One night, staring at the box of notices, I asked myself if maybe it was me. Maybe I was the one making it bigger than it was. Maybe if I tore down the shed, paid the stupid fine, stayed invisible, she'd move on. I thought about selling the house, packing up, starting over somewhere far from Brookstone Estates. For a moment, I felt small, foolish, an old man fighting windmills while his wife and kids bore the cost. But Claire wouldn't let me sink. She reminded me that I wasn't imagining it, that this was harassment, abuse of authority, maybe even fraud. She pushed me to document more, install cameras, treat it like a case. And when she came back one night with county records showing the HOA had legally dissolved 18 months earlier, I felt the ground shift under my feet. Karen wasn't just a bully with rules, she was running a ghost organization pocketing dues that had no legal basis. Neighbors started whispering, too. Tom Henderson, retired Navy, fined for a flagpole that had stood for years. Mrs. Harris, a widow threatened over feeding a stray cat. The Johnsons, a young couple with toddlers, fined for a Walmart swing set. One by one, their stories piled up like kindling. And then Gerald Lewis, the so-called committee member, finally broke. He confessed Karen forged his signature-made-up board meetings that never happened, even pocketed money meant for snow plowing. We drafted a letter. 3 pages, nothing but facts dissolved HOA forged documents, stolen dues. We mailed it to every house in Brookstone Estates. By Tuesday, neighbors stood in driveways holding their copies, shaking their heads. "All these years we thought she was just bossy," Tom muttered. "But theft forgery. That's different. The spell was broken." Karen knew. She barricaded herself inside golf cart idle for days, blinds clamped shut. But a cornered tyrant is the most dangerous kind. 2 afternoons later, her cart came roaring across my lawn, tearing through Linda's Flowers' headlights, blazing though it was broad daylight. She leapt out, hair wild, a crumpled copy of our letter clenched in her fist. "You think you can destroy me? Turn my neighbors against me. This is my community." Her voice cracked, but her fury burned hotter than ever. I stepped off the porch. "Karen, you're trespassing. Leave now." That's when Claire appeared, walking up from the dock where she'd been with the kids. She still had a towel draped around her shoulders, but her posture was steady calm. Karen's eyes locked on her, and something inside snapped. She reached under her vest, fumbled, and pulled out a black pistol. "Hands up," she screamed, pointing it straight at Claire. "You're trespassing. I'm making a citizen's arrest." Linda gasped, clutching the grandkids. My stomach dropped like a stone. But Claire, God bless her, didn't flinch. She squared her shoulders, voice sharp and commanding. "Ma'am, I am Sheriff Claire Carter. You are committing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Put the gun down, now." The cul-de-sac was silent. Neighbors frozen at their windows, the air thick enough to choke. Karen's hand shook, sweat dripping down her temple. "No, you're lying. I'm the president. I run this neighborhood." Claire took 1 step closer. "I am the sheriff, and you are 30 seconds from prison." In the distance, the faint wail of sirens grew louder. David was already on the phone, whispering to dispatch. Karen's eyes darted to the street panic flashing across her face. Her arm wavered, gun trembling. "I was just..." She was trespassing. "Drop it," Claire barked. The sound was like a gavel slamming down. The gun clattered onto the driveway. At that exact moment, 2 sheriff's cruisers skidded into view lights, flashing deputies spilling out. They froze for a heartbeat, seeing their boss barefoot calm as stone, standing between me and chaos. Then they moved in swift and sure, cuffing Karen as she wailed, "But I'm the president. You can't arrest me. I'm the authority." The deputies didn't even blink. "Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent." As they hauled her to the cruiser, she twisted in their grip, her eyes meeting mine. For the first time, there was no arrogance, no fire, just desperation. A fallen queen watching her paper kingdom burn to ash. And just like that, it was over. The lesson, power built on fear always collapses because fear only lasts until someone decides they've had enough.